Or you don't necessarily have to have a car problem, but what if you want to trade your car in? What should you buy? And that's a personal decision, but I can give you some little inside information. You know what? I can give you buzzwords that you can use at a service shop so that when you walk in a service shop, you'll know the right questions to ask, just like a doctor. And that's really important. Millie will take your call at 888 Car Clinic. That's 888-227-2546. This program this morning, I'm proud to say, is brought to you in part by K-Seal. Folks, you can stop the unexpected cooling system leak before it stops you and destroys your engine. You can find K-Seal at fine parts stores nationwide like AutoZone, and you can check the store website for hours and shipping information. And remember, if you have a cooling system leak, be it a water pump or a head gasket or a heater core, a heater core, don't just seal it, K-Seal it. For more information, go to kseal.com. And for questions and answers to car questions, dial 888 Car Clinic. Millie will take your call, put you in the queue, and I will answer your questions when I come back. A 2013 Honda Accord came in the shop running rough, stalling, and a check engine light. The vehicle had originally been repaired by another shop. After a thorough diagnosis, we found the vehicle was generating a bad signal from the crankshaft position sensor. This seemed odd as it had just recently been replaced, but the scope doesn't lie. A bad waveform signal needs to be fixed. Our solution? A new crankshaft position sensor from Motorrad. A longtime leader for vehicle thermostats and cabs, Motorrad now offers engine management products that are engineered to meet and or exceed OEM specifications. They're designed to perform under severe operating conditions and are resistant to extreme heat. We made the change and that fixed the car. Motorrad engine management products are manufactured in Tier 1 OEM facilities with top quality qualifications. They undergo comprehensive 100% in-line and end-of-line testing to ensure uncompromising quality. Learn more about Motorrad engine management products and other Motorrad solutions at Motorrad.com. Our inbox has been especially full these past few weeks as people are looking for advice regarding keeping their vehicles road ready. Jim from Dallas wrote, "What can I do to make sure my vehicles are prepared and ready to go?" Jim, the economic impact of the current health crisis has touched every hardworking American. Making your dollar stretch further is more important than ever before. Commuting to grocery stores and other essential outlets has changed the way most Americans drive. Shorter trips and lower operating temperatures can increase the probability of carbon buildup in your vehicle's engine combustion chamber. Look to Berryman products to help maintain optimum performance and MPG. Berryman's intake valve and combustion chamber cleaner is a simple-to-use kit that can truly add fuel economy, better performance, and longevity to your vehicle's engine. Regular use of Berryman B12 fuel system cleaner can assist you in maintaining a clean and healthy fuel injection system. Check out Berryman products' complete line of maintenance and cleaning products designed for do-it-yourselfer and professional technicians alike at BerrymanProducts.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
P-Ricey Outfitters, I'm Tina. How can I help you?
I'd like to place an order.
Great. Which item?
The cotton roll neck sweater, large.
Okay. Periwinkle, Loden, or caramel?
The caramel, please.
The what?
I'd like it in caramel.
Oh, the caramel?
Yeah, that's what I said, Tina.
Actually, you said caramel when it's pronounced caramel.
Can't we just call it yellow?
No.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
Ugh, that makes a Milky Way great.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, starts my morning, happy morning. Your name is Folgers Mountain Grow, now you're here. Your aroma helps me wake and the day is mine to take. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Okay, let's get started with today's broadcast. Today's program is brought to you by Grundy Insurance in part, and I'll tell you a little more about Grundy in a bit. I have and I own for 35 years a 1980 VSOC or Wysock, which is a Porsche 911, and it's one of the most beautiful cars. well, beautiful is probably not a word for it. The condition of my car is so beautiful. And so that's a little ding bell. Well, there you go. That's going to be probably my Mac, John. So we won't worry about it. It'll go away. Sorry about that, folks. Obviously, that's someone calling my phone, and my phone's in another room. But inside the studio is my Mac, a computer on the floor, which I don't use a computer whatsoever, but I didn't silence it this morning. So anyways, I was saying, what was I saying? That's easy for you to say. What was it called? Brain, duh, yeah, it is. Brain fade? Brain freeze? Oh, I never heard it called that, but that's cleaner than the other one. So, okay, so here's the bottom line. In 1980, just for your information, these are for your Porsche lovers, or not, a 911. The turbocharged version of the 911, which was one bad ride. I mean, one fast automobile, so fast that the Germans decided not to import the turbo 911 into the United States from 1980 through 1985, 5 years. During that time, any of those turbos that were imported had to come through gray market, and they were not legal cars, and they had to be emissions and door ribs put on them, and a lot of other things. And we in the industry scoffed at them at the time. They're worth a lot of money now, but not nearly as much as the original 911 930, which was the turbo Porsche. Having said that, so in 1980, when Porsche quit importing turbos, all the turbo files, all the Porsche files got really upset. So they came out with, they being Porsche, a Weissach, W-E-I-S-S-A-C-H, or Weissach in German. And that's a small German town where the proving grounds are located for Porsche. And they made 408 of these cars, of which mine is one. And so I'm going to be selling that car. And so in the meantime, for the last year, I've been finding things wrong with it. I think I'm just trying to get away, John, from selling it. Because now I'm so, like there's a string missing or there's a tie strap missing. Oh, I can't put it on the market yet. I mean, so Diane's asked me a bunch of times, well, when are you going to put the car on the market? When? Well, when I get it ready. Well, it just needs one more. It's always just one more thing. But I will tell you, it's gotten to the point now to where it's so new and so beautiful. And I just cleaned the undercarriage. And for those of you not familiar with this, and then we're going to go directly to the phones. And by the way, our partner O'Reilly Auto Parts is giving away a $25 gift card. So at the end of today's broadcast, which is going to be at probably 55 minutes after the hour, next hour, you don't have to be present to win. And if your station doesn't air Bobby Likis Car Clinic for 2 hours, that's okay. Just know that I will be giving away a $25 gift card for one of my lucky Car Clinic listeners, and that would be you folks, at 55 after the hour, next hour. Bottom line, they made this Weissach, and so I am prepping mine, and the last thing I had to do was to make the undercarriage look new. How do you make the undercarriage of the car's got 99,000 miles. Now, it's as good as it was new, literally, except for the age, and I've replaced all the aged parts. And I won't go into, I couldn't begin to, I wouldn't have 10 hours, I couldn't tell you what all I've done to the car, except that I just finished CO2 blasting the underside. It's called dry ice. And so under 80 to 90 pounds of PSI on a line of sight blasting only, which means if you're blasting around pipe, like a heater pipe or a radiator or a oil pressure line or something, or a air conditioner hose, or a fuel line, and you're blasting it, only the line of sight gets clean. So you got to take the machine and the wand that they hold, which is a big device, and blast it and move it around, left and around, completely around. Sometimes you can't get underneath, obviously, because you can't get in between the part and the car. But what's left over, this process freezes all the debris, and it shatters all the debris with shards of dry ice that end up as carbon dioxide, so nothing falls to the ground. 100,000 miles of debris, and what you end up is a dusty floor. And the exception being, because you're freezing the surface, there will be some condensation that occurs because of humidity. And the day that we blasted my car was a very humid day, so we had some water droplets on the metal parts that would form and then drop to the floor. Unbelievable. And so with the exception of you can find some dark spots in between here and there, for the most part, the undercarriage of my 1980 100,000 mile Porsche looked the way it did coming off the showroom floor. Take a call from Brett, and let's go with Brett. Brett's got a 2020 Toyota Tacoma. I love those trucks. Brett, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
tell me about yours. First, what engine is in that vehicle?
The Atkinson V6.
Okay.
It's TRD four-wheel drive sport. It has everything. I even put the remote locking tailgate on it.
Oh, that's cool.
But the only thing is, I find the four-wheel drive capability just a bit limiting. And if you change the tire size, not the tire type, the tire size, then that will affect the warranty adversely. And I just don't think it's as durable as they used to be. And I'm not very happy with it. I'm pretty much ready to sell it. I've had it since February. I'm ready to get rid of it.
Well, is it lazy? I mean, is it the fact that it doesn't have the performance and acceleration, or what is it that specifically, if you can be specific, that you don't like about it, Brett?
I'm not sure if it's as durable as it could be.
Well,
when I take it on a dusty road,
mm-hmm.
if I take it on a dusty road,
Right.
I got to wipe off the front sensor before it'll function the way it's supposed to. And that, again, goes to durability, the fuel economy. I mean, it struggles to get 22 miles per gallon on the highway on cruise control empty.
Wow. Well, let me ask you, have you changed tire size?
No.
Oh, okay. So we've got a bone stock 2020 V6 Toyota Tacoma. What is the advertised MPG on the highway? The Monroney sticker.
It's combined 20.
Do what now?
It's a combined 20.
Combined. Well, yeah, but it combined 20. But doesn't the Monroney sticker show a city and a highway and then a combined, or does it just show combined?
I think. Well, I haven't read it that well, but I think the average is 20 miles a gallon.
Okay, then some. Okay, let me stop you right there. You think so? So if we're going to be specific, and I'm doing this for you, not to pick you apart. I'm just saying, you need to. Do you have the original window sticker? That's the Monroney sticker that came with the vehicle.
Yes, I do.
Okay, look at that sticker, and it will tell you 24 highway, 18 city. I mean, I'm just making those numbers up, but it will give you 3 different readings. It'll give you city, highway, and combined.
Yeah.
So that's what you need.
Well,
now here, and let me. I'm giving you a way out here. If if the vehicle is advertised to produce 24 mpg highway, and yours is at 22 mpg, then the manufacturer has to make that right. And to that end, about 5 years ago, Hyundai had a 1 mpg discrepancy. And my office manager, Jan Mitchell, had a new vehicle at that time, Hyundai. She's had several of them. And Hyundai, because the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration or some governing body told Hyundai, if you advertise 22, it has to get 22. She got a credit card from the local dealer for $84 a year. And every year she owned that car, she got a credit so she could buy $84 worth of gas, which was the differential between what was advertised. Otherwise, they'd have to take the car back. Now, to that end, 2 or 3 years later, as memory serves me, Ford Motor Company had to change their Monroney sticker. And folks, the Monroney sticker, Senator Monroney out of, I forget what state he's from. Ask Jonathan to see where's Monroney. I think it's New Jersey, but I could be wrong. Anyway, he created this sticker, the new car sticker, with all of the gotchas on it, or with all the specifications on it that comes with every new car. to include the pollutants per mile. And so when and I'm hurrying because I got a break coming up. So in fact, when I come back, Brett, I'll share the rest of that story with you because it's really important that you folks understand this. James and Frank, you don't go anywhere, and I'll be back. 888 Car Clinic, $25 gift card. Get on the board. Let's go. Coolant leaks are never fun, but they can be especially challenging if you're far from home and repair shops are closed, like many right now. It pays to be prepared. Keep an emergency road kit in your vehicle, and inside should be a number of items, including K-Seal. K-Seal is a pour-in solution that helps stop cooling system leaks. It features ceramic technology designed to repair the leak without clogging. K-Seal is available nationwide at parts stores like Napa Auto Parts. Check NapaOnline.com for store hours and shipping options. That's K-Seal. Don't just seal it, K-Seal it. As we kick off National Car Care Month in the midst of COVID-19, making sure your vehicle is road ready has never been more important. The Car Care Council remind you it's the perfect time for a thorough check of various vehicle maintenance items, like brakes, batteries, tires, cooling system, filters, headlights, and the exhaust system. Visit carcare.org to find out how you can best keep your vehicle safe and dependable. It's National Car Care Month. Are you car care aware? Learn more at carcare.org. That's carcare.org. This car repair spotlight brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. This week, a 2009 RX 350 Lexus came in with 85,000 miles and a loud noise in the front suspension. Now, a lot of noise-related repairs can be difficult to pinpoint, but this one was easy. Left front strut locked in the upright position, causing a banging noise even over the slightest bump. Solution? Replace all struts. We called our local O'Reilly Auto Parts professional and ordered 4 new strut assemblies and also made the decision to buy Master Pro brand, which has performed really well for our previous repairs. We also performed our pre-repair brake fluid procedure while we had the wheels off to save our customer possible caliper issues later on. A 4-wheel alignment and balancing all tires made this 10-year-old Lexus drive as new. Our service team was happy, our customer was happier, and we know we made another great choice by collaborating with our local O'Reilly Auto Parts professional. That's why we make O'Reilly Auto Parts our first call. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
The airlines like to have sales. Summer getaway sales, holiday sales, winter sales. Truth is, at any moment, some airline somewhere is on sale with low fares to great destinations. Travelocity knows exactly what's going on, who's on sale, to where, and when, at over 700 airlines worldwide. We even have this nifty feature that lets you look at a calendar so that you can see exactly the days the great fares are available. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere. AOL keyword, travel.
Hun, guess my temperature.
It's 2 a.m. Go to sleep.
Come on, one guess.
Higher, 98.
Higher.
Higher, 99.
You're getting warmer. Wait, I'm getting warmer.
Cold symptoms keeping you from getting a good night's sleep? Get NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever so you can sleep better to feel better medicine. Use as directed.
One more guess.
100?
Yes. Tell her what she's won, Bob.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I will be giving away a $25 gift card from O'Reilly Auto Parts at the near the close of the second hour. You do not have to be present, and if your station that you're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic now does not carry the second hour or air our second hour, just know that you can still call in at 888 Car Clinic, and also please, when you do call in, give Millie your number so that we can reach out to the winner at the end of the show when we pull the winner's name out of the hat. Now, having said that, let's get back to, I'm talking with Brett, who's got a 2020 Toyota Tacoma. So, Brett, let me tell you this, then I'll ask you a question. And everyone, Mike Mulroney, a senator from Oklahoma, I thought it said New Jersey, but it's Oklahoma. Mike Mulroney was behind and championed a bill that said that all new cars must come with a new car sticker that gives the buyer information, not the dealer puts, and you can see where some dealers will add a little sticker on for add-ons, like, polish and wax and seals and what have. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the original sticker from the automobile, the Mulroney sticker. And that they named it Mulroney sticker after Mike Mulroney. Now, having said that, Brett, not Nissan, as I said, Hyundai had a problem, and it could have been Kia. It's one of the two. I think it was Hyundai had an issue with the MPG as stated on the Monroney sticker, and that fell 1 mile per gallon short, and so that was illegal. Because they used to have a different way of figuring miles per gallon where they put a car on a test track with no stop, no go, and just at 55 miles per hour, and and the windows rolled up and probably the air conditioner off and perfect weather, maybe even a tailwind. And they said, okay, my car gets 32 miles per gallon, and then you buy the car under the premise that it gets 32 miles per gallon. I'm just saying, and the car gets 28, and you say, well, and your neighbor says, well, I'm going to get one of those. Well, don't get one of those because it only gets 28. So to clarify and to polish and to update that law, the governing body of the government changed the methodology by which they test MPG. So when you buy a car now and it states on there, highway, like your Toyota Tacoma, let's say it's 23, and city 18 combined, whatever, then it must get 23. So for you, your to-do is to pull out your Monroney sticker and see what the highway mileage states. If you can't do that, I can give you a website.
Okay, that sounds good. Another thing with this particular truck, too, is the four-wheel drive performance is very negligible. I took it into a light spot where there was just a little bit of mud, and the most it could have sank was a half inch, 3/4 of an inch. I put it in four-wheel drive, tried to back up, it side slipped, but I put it in drive, and it went right on up out of there over an incline. And I'm just, I think in four-wheel drive it should be able to go either way, and it should generally go where the steering is oriented to. Like to the right, if it's oriented to the right. I can understand a little bit of slip.
Sure.
At the rear, but not a complete side shift.
Let me ask you this, Brett. Is this your first four-wheel drive vehicle?
No, not. This is the first four-wheel drive vehicle. No, it's not. I've had a Blazer.
Okay.
And before that, my favorite was the '67 International Carryall with the oil bath air filter and a Ford Duals with 9-inch.
Wow. Well, here two things, and I recommend. Number one, and I want to say this so people know what's on my mind. My concern for you is that if you have a 2020 Toyota Tacoma that you're not satisfied with, that you can't find any legal reasons out of, you're going to lose 30% value or 25% of the value. So if you paid $30,000 for it, you're going to get $20,000 for the vehicle. You're going to bite a big bullet. So it's easy. It's sometimes easy when we get disappointed in something and then we let that ruin the whole party. So I want to, in my heart of hearts, what I have two recommendations. Number one, you already driven 4x4s, so you know how much slip you're going to get, and you have something to compare it with. That's a good thing. Number two, if you truly don't like this vehicle, life is too short. Get rid of it. Having said that, it would be a lot cheaper and easier on your wallet if you found a legitimate reason that you could exchange it for another vehicle or get them to take it back, and that would be through the MPG or through some lemon law. But there again, I don't think it qualifies for lemon law, and I'm not suggesting that because that's a long process and there's got to be something physically wrong that they can't fix over a certain length. There's every state has its own little laws or agenda with regard to the lemon law. But I say to you, look at the Monroney sticker this week sometime. Call me next week and let me know what the Monroney sticker reads, and then I can help you make a decision from there. In the meantime, check the gear ratios on that vehicle because if the gear ratios are too high, then that will affect how it handles and see if there was or is an option that was available from Toyota that you didn't know about at the time when you bought your 4x, and if there's an option that's like a towing option or an off-road option that you would think a four-wheel's all going to be off-road, but manufacturers make vehicles They put them together. They don't make them. They assemble them. And then you get 4 wheels and a steering wheel. But if you want hubcaps for that, that's when you start getting, you got to have package A and package B. I mean, the base price of my car was $82,000. I spent $17,400 in options on my car when I had it made, because I wanted everything in the book, and I got everything but one option, and I won't go there because we don't have time. So do that, Brett, and then call me next week and think on this a week before you bite this. I hate to see you bite a big bullet here. It's $10,000 you're going to bite.
Well, I mean, you're exactly right about the gear ratio and everything like that. And I've heard of some people that what they'll actually do is they'll buy the truck, and then they'll install like a pedal minder or whatever. They'll redo the gear ratio and for this or that or the other. And my thing is this: if you're buying the doggone thing because you think it's the greatest thing in the world,
right, yeah,
why are you putting all this money into it, and doing all this work to it?
Well, see,
make it what you need it to
well,
be.
see,
that seems kind of pointless.
That's a good question, but by the same token, every car I've ever bought, I add. First thing I do is start adding things to it to personalize it. So the answer to that question has more to do with the personalization of their car, their truck, than it has to do with need.
Well, yeah, they're like I've heard they're doing a gear kit. One of these YouTube people, they're doing a gear kit to make it do something better.
Yeah, better.
Well, To me, that's like buying a lawnmower and trying to modify it into a weed eater.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a good analogy. Hey man, I hear you. I feel your pain, and all I can say is that check that Monroney sticker, call me back next week, and sleep on it for a week, and then if you are ready to go to the next step, then we'll take it up from there. And I have a couple of ideas. Okay.
Well, if worse comes to worse, I'll put it up on the marketplace and see what it goes from there.
Hey,
if not, I'll just keep the doggone thing.
All right, so you're on the marketplace right now. It's a 2020 Toyota Tacoma with a V6 Atchison engine. What color is it, and what options are on it?
It has everything, including the remote locking tailgate.
Okay. All right, folks. So if anybody's interested in Brett's vehicle, they can reach out to a car clinic or call me on the air right now. Or let me give my email address, and I've got your number. Millie's going to make sure put him back on hold, John. Make sure Millie's got his number, and so I'll give my email address to anybody that calls in that is interested. And if I can help you put you together, then that's fine. I'll do it. Okay. All right. Let's go to Frank next. Question. Frank, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thanks for holding. That was kind of an extended conversation, but Brett's gonna he's gonna take a shower. He's gonna take a cold bath. Anyway, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
It sure was a long one. Bobby, I had called you about half a year ago about my dually, Chevy dually that had the leak between the transmission and the engine.
Yes, sir.
And you don't remember that one, but I
do remember
it. Oh, you do?
I do.
Yeah. So I got fooled, but I said, these rich people down here are going to this mechanic. He must be really good. and you see the word honest mechanic is
right.
what I'm trying to get at.
I hear you.
And you know what? Every time I looked at that leak and put that pan under there, I said, it's got to be between there and the engine. So let me call Bobby. And then you honestly said, well, he could be inside the, what do you call it, the gasket between there and all of that.
Rear main seal.
Yeah, but it was not. And when that mechanic opened the hood,
mm-hmm.
he jumped into the engine
mm-hmm.
and put his hand in the back of the engine. I said, what is he doing back in the back of the engine?
Sure.
You know where he was going, Bobby. Where was he going?
Well, he was going to the back of the intake manifold because oil doesn't run uphill; it runs downhill. So when you have an oil leak, like I've said for 50 years or 40 years, if oil's dripping off the oil pan, doesn't mean the oil pan's leaking. It can mean that the valve cover's leaking or the intake manifold's leaking because oil runs downhill. So the first thing.
You know what it was?
No.
You know what it was?
Yeah, Tell me.
It was the oil pressure gauge,
the cylinder unit.
Oil pressure. It was broke, and it was on the top of the engine, in the back on the top. It wasn't on the side or anything.
Exactly.
And he went back there, put his hand there,
Right.
and his hand came out with oil. I said, now look at this. I was going to open up the transmission. I was going to separate everything, and this honest guy, just said this is what it was broken.
Well,
I think he charged me like $50.
All right, let's back up just one thing, because I remember specifically our conversation. Even though it's been a year, but I remember the conversation. It would for me to have shared my thoughts with regard to leaking between the transmission and the engine. It was either assumed, which I assumed would be on me, that you had already had it checked at a service. And in fact, you told me that another technician told you that it was the back of the engine and you had to separate the engine, and you called me for verification, as I remember. Did you not?
Right.
Had you not been told it was between the engine and the transmission?
No, when I took it to that guy, he never went under there and looked or anything. I just told him where the leaks appeared to be coming from, and he said, "Well,
so nobody did any investigation before." Well, there's the problem. I got a hard break, Frank. Stick around. I'll be back. James, I'll come to you soon. 888 Car Clinic. Let's go. Spring has sprung and summer's around the corner. We're all hoping for a return to some normalcy, which means road trips to the beach, the lake, grandma's house, and other favorite vacation spots. A little preventive vehicle maintenance now will help you avoid trouble ahead. Visit carcare.org to find out how you can best keep your vehicle safe, dependable, and roadworthy. While you're there, order your copy of the free Car Care Guide for your glove box. Go to carcare.org. That's carcare.org. Bobby Likis here. When you have rusty nuts and bolts, use PB Blaster. Of course, sometimes you end up spraying more than you need. Well, not anymore. Blaster's new Pro Straw with Control Flow technology is a better way to spray with a new flip-up clear plastic straw and a cool volume adjuster to control the flow from a wide spray down to just a drop. It's more precision and less mess, and no one else has it. Look for the new Blaster Pro Straw on cans of PB Blaster and Multimax synthetic lubricant. Always use Blaster products and work it like a pro.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Waking up can be a chore, but mornings knocking on my front door. Know just what I'll do. Put on a pot of Folgers brew. Mountain grown aroma hits the spot. Helps me give all that I've got. An opportunity to start out smiling and happy. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. I'm privileged to be involved with Capstone Adaptive Learning, formerly known as United Cerebral Palsy, for over 25 years. Since 1953, Capstone has provided quality care programs for persons with developmental disabilities like autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and intellectual disabilities. Dr. Sherry White with her team are dedicated to Capstone's clients, and 100% of your contributions stay local to serve those in this community. Go to capstoneadaptivelearning.org to see the difference Capstone makes.
Technology moves at the speed of innovation, and today, that's lightning fast. So when you get your hands on the latest tech, don't forget to do the right thing with your old devices. Recycle them. The Consumer Technology Association and its members are making recycling your old tech device as easy as purchasing new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the responsible recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find lots of tips to simplify your recycling, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Television sets, video game consoles, smartphones, tablets, they're all recyclable. Don't let them clog up your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org. You're sharp enough to get the latest tech tools into your home. Now be responsible enough to get your old devices to the recycler. That's greenergadgets.org.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back, folks. Just as a reminder for every person that calls in with a car question to Millie at Watch Bobby Live or whatever at 888 Car Clinic, 888-227-2546, we'll put your name in a hat And at the end of the next hour, I'm going to give away a $25 gift card, courtesy of our partners at O'Reilly Auto Parts, just for you to know. Now, Frank, here's my take on where you are, and congratulations on finding your honest mechanic. But let me just say this. What that implies is that other mechanics are not honest. And if you'll remember our conversation, you believed that the oil was coming from behind the engine, which it was, but specifically from a place there you had to pull the transmission out. When you called me, it was assumed, and I thought that you had a mechanic look at it and tell you it was the coming from between the engine and the transmission, and that's, and what is my advice? And my advice was, because it wasn't that bad, not to spend the money, but to monitor it until, and when it got really so bad, then you could pay to have it fixed. Now it turns out, after you've gone to this honest mechanic, that really what someone did was they actually looked at the vehicle, and I didn't know that you had not had this vehicle looked at. It was just your summation that it was leaking,
right,
in front. So here's and the reason that I want to recap this is because here's the bottom line. Under no circumstances should any oil leak, unless it's an oil pressure line or power steering hose, but any oil leak on an engine be repaired without due diligence. And due diligence sometimes includes cleaning the engine so that you got a clean slate, and adding dye to the oil, which we've done numerous times, and then you drive the vehicle 50 miles or 100 miles or a week or 3 days or whatever, and you come back and you look at where the oil is actually emanating, where it originates, where the leak originates. So I just want to say this because the technician that you went to had obviously had previous experience, and it was a good thing that he reached back there and found what it was. There's a value. Now, if he didn't charge you for that, now let's look at this. If he didn't charge you for that, you were lucky, because that was knowledge that he had. And I say that because if a doctor was going to do open heart surgery or was going to do surgery, the first thing that would happen is tests would be performed, x-rays, MRIs, a CAT scan. So that's to confirm.
Right.
To confirm. So even though you lucked out here, you just lucked out because the process wasn't followed, and he was lucky, and you were lucky that he reached back there. But by the same token, this guy just gave away a part of his lifetime education, because he said,
Bobby, he charged me. He charged me.
He charged you for what?
He replaced the oil pressure gauge, that the oil pressure thing that
broke.
Did he charge you? Right off.
Did he charge you for the time to determine where the leak was coming from?
No, he charged me just for to replace the oil pressure gauge.
Then you're lucky that he gave away his knowledge.
Okay.
He gave away his knowledge. So to be clear, he gave away his knowledge. His bad. And I'm not saying this so you should pay more money. But I'm just saying that many times, if he replaced parts, it could have been here's the bottom line: the intake manifold could have been leaking, and it would have put oil in the same place. So if that switch had been $1,000 switch, and he said, "Oh, it's leaking," let's just say $100 switch, it's leaking, and he put a new one in, and you drove away all happy, and then a week later you still got the dropping in your driveway. Who's going to be upset? You're going to be upset. So I just say this because a knowledgeable technician that's been in the business for a long time will not just put parts arbitrarily on an automobile. I'm not saying he arbitrarily did it because he felt the switch and it was leaking. I'm just saying that in a daily operation as a service provider, he got lucky, and so did you. Does that make sense?
Right.
You see?
It makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
I was every day I was driving. Before I got to the light, it was pouring out, so I could only go a mile or two wherever. And I said, once he put that oil pressure switch in, everything stopped.
Yeah, good. That's great. I mean, you're all good to go, man. And congratulations. I'm glad you called me before, and I'm glad that you because the time you talked, it wasn't doing that. It wasn't pouring. It was leaking, but it wasn't pouring.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Hey, thank you
All
so
right,
much,
thank
Frank.
you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, folks. So the reason I share this with you is because I'm not here for Frank. I'm here for all of you that are tuned in. So the moral of the story is, if you go to a doctor and said, I got a pain in my chest, and the doctor looked at you and said, oh, well, we got to do open heart surgery. Well, wait a minute. Don't you want to do a stress test? Well, duh. So the same thing's true for your automobile. There has to be due diligence. There has to be a testing. Otherwise, you throw one part after another. And I can tell you, that Frank's the exception there because the man felt it and replaced it. But I can't tell you how many people have called me and said, Bobby, I got this problem in my car, and so far let me tell you what all I've done. And I stop them right there. I don't want to hear all you've done because you still got the same problem. I put in a sensor, I put in a crank sensor, a start sensor, a yada, yada, yada. It never ends. Okay. Let's go to James in Missouri. James, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thank you for holding. A long time getting to you, but I'm glad that you're online with us. And did you heard that conversation? What's your take?
Well, Bobby, I think you're right. A good mechanic would do a lot of things and spend some time and try to really find a problem without just putting a part on. You don't. There's an old saying: you don't want to get out the parts cannon and just throwing parts at it. You want to really know what's going on.
Yes, and even when you don't know what's going on, even if the test, there comes a point in time to where, and I'm talking about drivability issues here with cars. There comes a point in time to where you have to talk to the owner and say, look, I think it's this. Our tests lead me to believe that it's this module or it's this sensor. But I number one, if I spend any more time, the part is less than the time. If it were my car, I'd replace the part, but I can't guarantee that's going to take care of the whole issue. And then when you have that conversation, all I'm trying to do here is to share my years of education and OJT and being in the business and dealing with car owners. And try to collectively bring people together so that I feel good about what I'm doing here. But anyway, what was your question? And thanks for calling. And folks, this gentleman that's on the phone, according to Millie, says that you are a technician. That's correct?
Yes, Bobby. I've been a mechanic most of my life. I've talked to you before. I worked at my dad's automatic transmission shop, Quality Transmission in St. Louis, Missouri. And I started out in the summertime tearing down transmissions for him. And when I graduated high school, I moved from taking them apart to putting them back together. And now I'm kind of doing my own ATV business.
Got it.
Working on four-wheelers. And so I listen to your show every weekend, and I always learn something. So thank you very much. And it's just a great pleasure to listen to you and talk because I think you do a really good job at breaking things down and getting to the point. Trying to figure out what's really wrong. Like I said earlier, you don't want to just get out the parts cannon and start throwing parts on. You really want to find out what's wrong with it.
Right.
That's what I try to do.
Thank you.
When I'm, you're welcome. When I'm working on things, you don't want to. Customers, they don't have a whole lot of money sometimes, and you don't want to be putting the wrong part on there and costing them money. So you kind of want to really figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those people who call around shops price shopping, that's the worst thing in the world you can possibly do. Because you say, what's it cost for a water pump? Well, let's see, the water pump is X and the labor is X. Oh, but by the way, I'm going to take the belt off, and the belt may be bad. And what about the coolant? And I mean, they're always what you are quoted over the phone and what you leave the building with paying are rarely the same. But anyway, did you have a question for me?
Yeah, Bobby. First of all, I want to thank you very much, and I wish you a very happy first day of summer.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it's today the first day. Hey, well, how could and I didn't know that, but I do know this. Tomorrow's Father's Day. Now that's really
well,
is it not only Father's Day, but I will take my wife, and she's taking me because it's Father's Day, to the district which is one of the newest. It's the best steakhouse in Pensacola, Florida, and it's the district owned by the Mitchell family. And I will tell you, I can't wait. And at 6 p.m. tomorrow, I'm going to be at the district enjoying my Father's Day. Okay, your question now, because we're running out of time.
Hey, if we run out of time, you can hold me over. So, we'll go. Because the question I have might take a minute or two. I'm not as rich as Elon Musk, but I would like to think that I think along the same lines as an innovator as Elon Musk.
Okay.
So my question is, and I'm so inspired by that man. But to my question, I was wondering about the possibility of the total elimination of the intake valve on the internal combustion engine. And by that I mean, we already have fuel injectors that inject the fuel in there. Why can't we have injectors that inject the air in there along with the fuel and just get rid of the intake valve? And your thoughts, please.
You know what? That's a novel idea. That is a novel idea. I guess the challenge, let's see, inject the air.
Should I get a patent first before I talk
Well,
about it?
no, you got to have a working model before you can get a patent. But I think that's a novel. They do make engines that don't have valve springs, but that's neither there. And folks, here's what is on James' mind. The biggest issue with the internal combustion engine, gasoline, is vacuum and pumping losses, because at an idle there's vacuum, and so the pistons that go down at an idle, and the engine has a great deal of vacuum, it robs horsepower. There is no power. That's why if an engine is idling and you've got the clutch out in a standard transmission, boop, it goes dead, because it doesn't have any power idling. So it has to have some inertia, it has to have something. So I guess that they could do that. I'm wondering if you could put the air and fuel in, why couldn't you take and think about this? Because this is a great story here. You're maybe onto something, James. Why not mix the air and fuel together and inject both? But here's the challenge. Right. Here's a challenge. For every gallon of gas, there must be 9,000 gallons of air. So the air-fuel ratio of stoichiometric, which is 14.7 parts air to 1 part fuel, I think would be very difficult from a timing standpoint. When would you inject the air? And then when would you have time for the air and the fuel to be compressed? Because, you have to put the air in, and the more air you can get in, but you have to compress the air. So you can't put compressed air on top of a piston and then put fuel in it and make it work. The engine has to have compression and build the heat up and compress and atomize the fuel and then homogenize the fuel, which means you mix the fuel and the air, and the better mixture you have, then the better BMEP, or brake mean effective pressure, you have, which pushes the piston back down. So I think you may be onto something, and you piqued my interest. But the nearest thing to that, of course, as you know, and here's something for you to study, James. You've heard of Garrett turbochargers, right?
Yes, I have.
All right. Garrett and Mercedes-Benz just partnered on an electric turbo that turns 170,000 RPM. Just yesterday, this was announced. 170,000 RPM. It's electric turbo, which virtually eliminates any lag. Let's say that you're cruising at 5 miles an hour, and or 10 miles an hour, you're coming to a stop sign or to a traffic intersection, but for some reason you got to nail the throttle because there's an emergency. With all turbocharged cars, you nail the throttle, there's a lag. And the bigger the turbo, the more the lag. So what Mercedes-Benz is saying is that even when you let off the throttle, their electric turbo can have the pressure, which is similar to what you're saying, can have the pressure standing by, so that when you nail the throttle, boom, it's instantaneous, because the turbo is not instantaneous. So I'm out of time, but Google this week, and then you can call me next week again, because I love this conversation. But Google Mercedes-Benz and Garrett and 170,000 RPM electric turbo that runs on 48 volts.
I will do that.
Okay. Hey, nice to talk with you, and thank you so much for your compliments. And I know that Greg is on the phone with general questions. Here's the challenge. I'm out of time for this hour, but it's not a challenge because I'm going to come back next hour. And if you're at a place where your station doesn't carry the program, you can go to watchbobbylive.com and see and hear the program in real time. Otherwise, and make sure now that you give Millie your name and all, because we're going to give away a $25 gift card from O'Reilly Auto Parts. In the meantime,
I win it.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
All right. Well, actually,
I hope I won it. So
oh,
go ahead.
I hope you do, too. Well, somebody's going to win. We're going to pull a name out of the hat, but I won't be the one pulling the name. The crew pulls the name out of the hat. Folks, that's all the time we have for this hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Great show today. Let's get going for the next hour at 6 after the top of the hour. I'll be back at 888-227-2546. Like us, you'll love us.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
Folks, here's a great story for you. One of our listeners had to fly from Oregon to Maine to pick up his daughter and drive back home across country. She had an older Trailblazer that was not particularly well maintained. They rented a U-Haul, packed everything, and began the trek home. Shortly into the trip, the engine began to run hot due to a leaking radiator. The initial thought was, of course, to find a local shop that could help, but with shelter-in-place orders all around the country, that was difficult. They did find an auto parts store and purchased a bottle of K-Seal along with some coolant. K-Seal stopped the leak, and they finished their trip without any additional coolant leakage. Now, more than ever, it really pays to be prepared. Maintain an emergency road kit and be sure to include, among other items, a bottle of K-Seal. You can find K-Seal at fine parts stores nationwide, like Advance Auto Parts, and you can check the store website for hours and shipping information. And remember, if you have a coolant leak, don't seal it, K-Seal it. And remember, if you have a cooling system leak, don't just seal it, K-Seal it. For more information, go to kseal.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
If you're familiar with the cultivated section of the newspaper, you probably understand this message quite well. You see, in the cultivated section, everything gets abbreviated. Consonants, vowels, prepositional phrases, the very building blocks of our language are thrown right out the window. And that makes it difficult when you're trying to sell your car. You've got a limited amount of space to work with. And by the time you abbreviate the description of your car down to a couple of fragmented sentences, it sounds less like a car and more like a Bluck sedan with sniffed like new condition lemals. No wonder more people are selling their cars through eBay Motors. They can post unlimited text and photo descriptions, and with a nationwide marketplace, they're likely to sell it for more. Plus, both parties can be covered by eBay's Vehicle Protection Program. Buyers are happy, sellers are happy, and no one's abbreviating. eBay Motors, a better way to sell your car.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 3-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 1-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 30-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 10-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome to this hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. We've already put 1 hour in the books, and it was just a fabulous hour. And I say fabulous, it was enjoyable to me and helpful to you. And that's really what I'm here for, to have a good time and to enjoy life. And enjoy life with you, but also to give you buzzwords and to give you benefit of my knowledge, because I don't have my hand in your pocket what I share with you because it is a feel good and because I know this and because I wish to do so. So just for you to know that. Let me give you a message here that's important to me. When your battery goes dead, everything comes to a stop. So don't take a chance on getting stranded. O'Reilly Auto Parts, our partner, will test your battery for free, and if it does need to be replaced, they can help you find the exact battery that fits your car or your truck at a great price at that. Make sure that your vehicle is prepared for the weather ahead, folks. Get your battery tested for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Bobby Likis Car Clinic, your car doctor, every Saturday from 10 till noon Eastern Time. No other program on the air, Car Talk, matches what we do. I give you information that you can't get anywhere else. And O'Reilly Auto Parts gave me a $25 gift card at the end of this hour. I'm going to give it away. Call Millie now at 888 Car Clinic, and I'll be back. Entertainment, GPS systems, heated seats, backup cameras, and start-stop technology. Just a few of the electrical demands we put on today's cars. AGM, or absorbent glass mat batteries, are up to the challenge. They're precision engineered to offer the ultimate combination of power, durability, and reliability. One advantage of an AGM battery, robust design with high compression cell design and glass mat separators. AGM batteries are built to excel in the most demanding conditions. AGM, the better battery for today's vehicles. Learn AGM advantages from Clarius at autobatteries.com.
O'Reilly. Could your car use a spring cleaning? Now's the time to stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new. Like Mother's California Gold Wash and Wax, just $4.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. That's a $6 savings. Or online at O'ReillyAuto.com. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You've heard me talk about Motorrad's leading the way with automotive thermostats, fuel, oil, and coolant caps. Now, Motorrad's using their expertise in Tier 1 OEM facilities to deliver advanced engine management solutions. Products like camshaft and crankshaft sensors, ignition coils, mass airflow sensors, even variable valve timing solenoids. And Motorrad's aftermarket products are designed and manufactured to meet or exceed original equipment specifications. Learn more about Motorrad products and industry-leading application coverage at Motorrad.com.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Another lending success story from LendingTree.com.
Car dealers like playing games. They play percentage points, they play markups, but I don't like playing with my money. So I got my auto loan through LendingTree.com. I filled out one simple form, a marketplace of banks and lenders competed over it, and I got 4 offers back within hours. After all, the car buying game is a lot easier to win when you're holding all the cards.
LendingTree.com. When banks compete, you win. For additional information and state license disclosures, please visit our website located at LendingTree.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And thank you for tuning in to Bobby Likis Car Clinic this morning. Brought to you in part by Blaster Corporation and PB Blaster. Yeah. My next door neighbor says, "Hey, I know what you're talking about. That PB Blaster, right?" Yeah. I was actually lubricating the garage door tracks at my home. And he said, what are you using there? And I was using the Blaster garage door lubricant. He said, is that PB Blaster? I said, that's exactly right. I said, that's the number one product for breaking free rusted parts. So folks, and for those of you who do your own work, don't bust your knuckles, Bust the nuts with PB Blaster. For more information, go to blastercorp.com. Let's take a call from Greg. Greg, thank you so much for holding. You've been there for a short time. We appreciate you. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Yeah, my question is on the OnStar system. And let's say the car gets stolen and I'm not a subscriber to that system. Can they still find it?
Yep. Absolutely.
What happens if the thief disconnects the battery cable?
Well, the car won't. The car will be dead.
Right, but will they still be able to see where it's been sitting at the time it's got no battery hooked up to it?
I will say this. I do not know specifically, Greg, the answer to that question, but I will say this. Given the fact that in my iPhone, there's a tick that I can elect to take and check in the box that says when the battery dies, send out your last known location. So I'm going to tell you that, like an Apple phone, that I know how it works, and the OnStar system that I don't know the answer to your specific question, the last known location of that car when the battery is disconnected, or which means the cell connection is going to go away, will be known. Now, could you steal the car, disconnect the battery, and then flatbed the car somewhere? Absolutely. So I would say this. To my knowledge, there are small batteries that have keep alive memory. The whole car is, not say the whole car, there are many components on your Cadillac that uses backup batteries. And one of those is would be say the seats, the body control module, because if you disconnect the battery, you don't want to have to reprogram all the seats. And so the body control module more than likely has its own little, like clocks have their own little mini battery. But a cell requires a significant battery and specific battery. So as I said, I don't know the answer to your question, except that I do know that the last known location would for sure be sent to OnStar. So to that end, that doesn't answer your question specifically, but it gives me a pretty good idea of whether or not the location of the car is known. But after the battery is disconnected, I don't think that location can be traced.
I understand. Hey, I heard some late model cars, if you get a dead battery and you go to switch the battery, some models, you have to actually get it back to the dealer. They got to reboot the system because it throws the computer out.
That is correct.
Will that happen on this model?
Yes, that is correct. What you have to do to replace a battery, the safe way and the easy way, is to go to the battery terminal, the positive. You can hook a ground anywhere on the car, but go to the positive terminal of the battery and hook a booster battery or a booster box to the battery terminal. To the cable that hooks to the terminal. The problem there is there's not a lot of exposed metal there, because that's an insulated, number 2 gauge cable. So some cars have, like my car has a dual battery. So I can go to a hot terminal under my hood. My battery's in the trunk. I can go to a hot terminal under my hood. I can hook a battery to my hot terminal and then hook the battery negative to the negative post there under the hood. And I can go in the back of my car, take the main battery out. The car will never know the battery is removed because it's got a backup battery. So that is the way to save yourself from causing, the loss of memory, and especially with Audis and Mercedes-Benz and probably Volkswagen, because Audi and Volkswagen, so 6 in 1. So does that answer your question?
It does, but on this 2014 model Cadillac, it will, if I take the battery out, will I have a problem where I have to take it to the dealer to get the computer rebooted?
More than likely, the car will start and run, but there'll be some features that won't operate the way they did before you remove the batteries from the car. So if you're going to change the battery out, follow the procedure I just told you. You got it?
Yeah, I got one quick question.
Okay.
Yeah, a Garmin GPS works off the satellite. Let's say I'm using my cell phone for street navigation. Does that work off the cell tower or a satellite system?
A GPS system works off GPS, and if you're inside of under garage, then you have no signal, just like satellite radio. So a GPS works off. A cell phone works off a triangulation of towers.
Okay, I got you. So the cell phone doesn't have anything to do with space satellites.
That's correct. A cell phone doesn't. A cell phone does not have the same function, nor depend on satellite. A cell phone depends on a cell tower that is located on the ground and goes up into the sky and sends a wireless signal. But so if you're in a parking garage underground, your cell phone would still send a triangulated signals of where the car is. If you're listening to satellite radio, which is a satellite to your car receiver, like GPS, then your satellite radio would not work, and that happens to me all the time. You go under an overpass on an interstate, and you'll a temporary blockout, and and the way they get around that, they mean like satellite radio, is what you're listening to is 4 seconds delayed or 5 seconds delayed, so that when you're 3 seconds under a no pickup signal, you don't really get much of a blank out, if at all, because you got 4 seconds of grace there anyway, because you're listening 4 seconds late.
I appreciate your time and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Greg. Good call. Good question. Thank you. We'll put your name in the hat for the $25 gift card from O'Reilly Auto Parts. 888, some phone lines are finally open now, folks. 888-227-2546. That's 888 Car Clinic. Let's go to New Mexico for what's become and who's become a regular on Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Tim, good morning. Welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you in the house.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Bobby,
sir.
And good morning to all the dads that are listening today.
Hey, folks, this gentleman delivers cars for dealers and is on the road a lot and gives us a ring from New Mexico and shares the price of gas. But I think it'd be kind of neat if you share maybe a story or so, if you have a story to share, of one of your trips delivering a car. You ever had a new car fail or something like that? But first things first, gas prices.
Gas price today is $1.73 here in Alamogordo, New Mexico.
And the national average is $2.
Yes. So it fluctuates lately. So I don't, but we're still cheap. So
yeah, to a point. Well, hey, listen, anything less than $4 or $5. When gas,
for sure.
when there was, and we have a station in Moses Lake, Washington, for years, and up in the mountains there, there's a gas station, and we were looking for the highest gas price. And somebody said, well, in the UK, we had a gentleman call from the UK. I said, no, we're talking about in the States. And so I forget where it was, but there was a gas station in the mountains in the state of Washington, and gasoline was $6 and whatever, I can't remember, but like $6.20 or $6.30 or $6 and some odd cents. And we were trying to figure out why, and of course the why is transportation, because a truck had to drive up specifically to that one station versus having a route where you've got 100 stations, you're delivering fuel to 100 stations, or 10 or in a local city, and then you got to make and take all the fuel that you've got and drive it up a mountain to one station, so you got to charge. So, but I thought it was interesting. I said all that to say this, Tim. When gas prices neared $5 electric vehicle what seemed like a really great idea. Hard break there. I'm going to come back and take your calls at 888-227-2546. Don't go away. Spring has sprung, and with COVID-19 center stage, it's never been more important to be car care aware. The Car Care Council reminds you that April is National Car Care Month. Here are a few things you should consider as you prepare for the months ahead. April showers can bring hazardous driving conditions with slick, wet roads. It's a great time to make sure your brakes, tires, and windshield wipers are ready for the rain. Talking specifically about your brakes, how can you tell something's wrong? There are a number of signs. If your brakes are spongy or squealing, or if you can't stop without pumping, or other indicators include your car pulling to one side when stopping, your brake pedal sitting lower than normal, and your brakes requiring excessive pressure or grabbing with the least amount of pressure. Any of these symptoms mean you likely need your brakes inspected. For more great tips, videos, and recommended service schedules, visit carcare.org. And while you're there, order a free copy of the Car Care Guide for your glove box. That's carcare.org. Vehicle reliability is always important, but now more than ever, your car or truck needs to start, run, and run well. Berryman and their family of products is here to help you maintain your vehicle, whether you're still commuting for an essential job or it's an occasional trip to the grocery or the pharmacy. Berryman B12 Chem Tool with HEST technology is a perfect pour-in solution which helps break down carbon deposits that may form while the vehicle is sitting and helps disperse moisture and dissolve gum and varnish. And Berryman's 4-step professional air and fuel system management kit improves hard starting, rough idle, poor fuel economy, and overall drivability. And Berryman's B60 high mileage oil system rejuvenator cleans and protects the crankcase and engine oil system of all gas-powered vehicles, including those exceeding 60,000 miles. Since 1918, Berryman has been here to help consumers and repair shops alike. More information? Go to berrymanproducts.com. That's berrymanproducts.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Telephone tip.
From Geico Auto Insurance.
When calling Geico to switch your car insurance, you will not need acetaminophen, naproxen, indomethacin, ibuprofen, a cold compress, an on-call acupuncturist, or any other pain remedy. In 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more. If it were any more painless, you could do it in your sleep, which is theoretically possible since we offer complete 24-hour service. Call 1-800-947-AUTO, 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
When you purchase the latest TV, tablet, or smartphone, don't forget to do the right thing with your old ones. Recycle them. The Consumer Technology Association and its members are making recycling your old devices as easy as buying new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find recycling tips, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Don't let your old tech tools clog your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you want to listen to Car Clinic podcast on the go, it's easy during the week. Now, we're live Saturday from 10 to noon, but on your favorite app store, you can find us on additional media platforms to include, and here, get ready for the grocery list because it's a grocery list. Bobby Likis Car Clinic can be downloaded on media platforms such as Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Spreaker, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, and iTunes. Whew. So, plus radio stations, and subscribe to our podcast. Share it with your family and friends, and leave us a review. Let us know how you enjoy and use maybe the information that I present to you and I share with you, and I'd appreciate that. In fact, here's one more favor that I ask of you. Like Bobby Likis on Facebook and follow Bobby Likis, that's Likis, on Twitter, and you'll get the latest updates. Okay, with that, we're going to take a call from John, and I'm going to invite you to call in at 888-227-2546. Millie will put your name in the hat, and my team will pull one name out of the hat to get a $25 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card. John, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, sir.
A question earlier. You were talking about mileage per gallon on the Moroni stickers.
Yes.
Are they calculated with air conditioning? Because I purchased 2 Nissans and they totally missed the mark on the mileage. And I asked the guy, and he goes, "Oh, air conditioning is not included in that." And in Florida, everybody needs air conditioning.
Yes, that's true. And so let me say this: whoever told you that needs to bone up, needs to really study how the new. See, for years, the stated gas mileage was calculated like on a test track running 55 miles per hour, under the best circumstances, So how long would an engine last? Trust me, if you had a vehicle, any vehicle, internal combustion engine, and you had it on a test track running 75 miles per hour in 6th gear or the top gear, 6th or 8th gear, it doesn't matter. And the only time you stopped was to change the driver after 3 hours or for a bio brake or to refill it. And then every, say, 12,000 miles you stop and change the oil and filter and let it go again. In other words, if you never shut the engine down, you probably go, I don't know how many million miles on the same car with no wear and tear, because that's not a perfect world and that's not how cars are used. But if you want to advertise my car, well, I got 4.2 million miles out of my engine, right, but where did you drive it? Well, I never drove it on the street. So that doesn't count. But that's the way, and I'm being facetious, but that's the way that MPG was figured before they changed the law. And they, being the government, changed the methodology by which fuel mileage is tested. And fuel mileage is tested with air conditioner on. Fuel mileage is tested in city driving, at normal stop and go, at multiple speeds. It's not a perfect world. It's tested in street mode. And so here's where I believe you can find the printed certified information, John. If you go to safercar.gov, S-A-F-E-R car.gov, number one, you go to safercar.gov, or you can go to National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, N-H, whatever that, you can figure that, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.gov, NHSTS.gov. You go there, and you can also put your VIN number and see if your car has any recalls while you're there. But you can also get MPG, and I think it's Safer Car, but I'll have to do some study this week. There is a site, a government site, that gives you the stated MPG of automobiles as far back as 1986. Now, will 86 be correct? No, it won't be correct, because the law was different then. But if you've got, say, you're looking at 2000, let's see, 86. Let's say you're looking at 1990, and you've always loved a 94. Always loved a North Star Cadillac, and you want a 94. That's when they came out with them. And you're also thinking about another car, and the only thing difference, it's another luxury car, is the gas mileage. So you can go to this site, and I want to look it up this week and find that site, but I think it's safercar.gov. You could go to this government site and say the 1994 North Star got 17 miles per gallon, and the 1994 Lincoln Continental got 21.2 miles per gallon. And if you're looking at two different used cars, you might want to go and opt for the one that got the better gas mileage. Now, fast forward to today. When you see a Moroni sticker, the Moroni sticker and the MPG stated on the Moroni sticker is the certified MPG that you can deliver, and my car delivers better gas mileage than what's stated on the Moroni sticker. I get 26.7 miles per gallon at 79 miles per hour average, and I've done that for 72,000 miles. So So can you take your question was, and folks, John's question, do you take the sticker for at face value? And the answer is yes. The Monroney sticker, the new car sticker that states the MPG, is what that car will deliver.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Great question. Great question. I get great questions. I have. You guys are great. Really. 888 Car Clinic. 888-227-2546. Folks, another great partner of ours, and Bobby Likis Car Clinic, is brought to you by Grundy Insurance. Grundy's, and get this, MVP, Motor Vehicle Program, makes it possible to combine all of your vehicles on one policy and insure them all at your agreed value. For more information about agreed value, that's the key word here, go to Grundy.com. That's Grundy, Grundy.com. Meanwhile, take a call from Richard. Richard, good morning. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hey, Bobby. I'm tired of hearing about your Porsche, how great and how pretty it is. No, I'm just kidding. And being an 80, and my 83 is just a plain one, and you said it's a Wick or whatever it is.
That's a Weissach. It's in Germany. There's a small town called.
Yeah, you told. I heard that earlier.
Okay.
That's why I was calling.
Yeah.
I was on the way in, and then I had. While you were talking about it, I had to ask about it. So it's worth a lot of money then, right?
Yes,
my
sir.
80, just plain 83, 911, 3.0 liters, not worth as much, right?
That's not true. See, your 83 is called an impact bumper, and air-cooled. Impact bumper and or air-cooled Porsches, 911s, are bringing a premium. And let me give you a website to go to that will give you so much enjoyment and so much information. And are you ready?
I'm writing.
It's called bringatrailer.com. Bringatrailer.com.
Bring, B-R-I-N-G.
Yep.
A trailer, Trailer.
Right, .com. And you can register for free on bringatrailer.com, and you can watch while impact bumper Porsches and other cars are auctioned for 7 days, and some of their premium cars are on for longer. But the average car, like an impact bumper, your 83 911, would be on there for 7 days, and you would pay them, get this, $99 to list it. And when it's sold, the buyer pays them a percentage, and you get all of the bidded money. So if your car was bid up to $20,000, you would get a $20,000 check, and the buyer
I
would.
won't sell it. I was just talking about.
Well, you would do well. Let me just say this. This past week, a 1987 Targa 911, black on black, that had 42,000 miles, as I remember. It was a low mileage car, 42,000 miles, sold for $101,000.
Yeah, well, I guess I gotta have. They built a lot of them in '83. Mine's got everything. Only air doesn't work. But did you to replace the air? Did you put a new unit in, or did you rebuild the old one that's in there?
No. I upgraded my car. I even though I knew I was going to sell it, I put a Griffiths, a serpentine aluminum AC coil, and a rotary compressor, and converted it to R134A. So my car, other than the hoses that connect the rear condenser and to the front, are all original, but the compressor is new, and the evaporator core is new, and the evaporator case, I took all of that totally out of the car and blueprinted it, which means I cleaned it, I sealed it, I even modified the case, because in a 911, to change the blower motor, you have to pull the evaporator core out, and to recharge the system, it's a pain. But because the case is held together with clips, so you take those clips, you throw them away, you drill holes where the clip bosses are, and you put a screw in, so that when the fan, or if the fan ever goes bad, which eventually all fans go bad, you can undo the screws and lift the top lid off and get to the fan motor without dealing with the H box.
What are you talking about cost?
For what I did on my car on the AC.
I'm talking about the AC. It costs a fortune to do anything that he says.
$3,000.
$3,000.
Yeah.
Okay, all
yeah,
right.
about $3,000. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Mine's a 911. It's got like 80,000 miles on it, and it doesn't work. Air doesn't work and all that stuff. But
Well, it's that's because it's leaking. So and it's got the old. If you got that old compressor on there, which is a York piston compressor that vibrates like crazy. I mean, either you upgrade it or you just keep charging it and let it go, because you're going to bite a big bullet, and then when you get into it, something else, you're going to find something else, because it's an old car, and when you start off on the little stream and you end up going down a multiple, you uncover a lot of problems.
Best thing to do is just drive it and enjoy it during the winter time.
I agree. You are on the right track. Yeah, I would.
I'm on the right track. Forget about that other stuff and just enjoy it and drive it.
Hey, thanks so much for your call. I appreciate your call. I got a hard break coming up here. 888 Car Clinic, folks. 888-227-2546. This Pro project is brought to you by Blaster and their new Pro Straw, featuring control flow technology. Folks, wheel alignment's an important part of vehicle maintenance. Proper alignment provides better handling and also extends tire life. But in some areas of the country, roads suffer from harsh winter climate, and salt damage is tough on steering linkages and suspension components, causing rust. Rust never sleeps, and it becomes evident when you try to make adjustments to tie rods or even caster and camber components. But there's a solution. PB Blaster Penetrant and its new Pro Straw, featuring control flow technology. When aligning the front end, be sure to apply Blaster using the convenient Pro Straw to tie rod adjusters and any fasteners that allow alignment changes. Blaster will make them easier to loosen and move. And using Blaster's new Pro Straw provides the ability to apply penetrant only where needed, ultimately making the job cleaner and more efficient. PB Blaster is available at home, auto, or hardware stores near you. Work it like a pro with Blaster products. For more information, go to blastercorp.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
More than 1 million wild animals are killed each year illegally. Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor with a desire to preserve living space for wildlife. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust does just that. Works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE, or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
Did you know 26 million Americans have kidney disease and most don't know it?
The day I was diagnosed, I didn't know what to do. I called the National Kidney Foundation, and the young lady who answered stayed on the phone with me and walked me through step by step. She too was surviving kidney disease. And she showed me there could be life after kidney disease.
Visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org. Now you know.
We're a land of cynics. We don't believe anything anymore. You know why? Because we've been told we've won $1 million, that it's new and improved, that it slices and dices, that our favorite singer is still alive, that we'll be prosecuted if we cut off the tags, and of course that everything is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So when we hear the words customer service, we don't believe it. Travelocity isn't surprised if you're a little skeptical when they say they have excellent customer service, and that there's actually a pleasant face behind this website, a living, breathing person with a supercharged computer full of answers. Someone who's willing to help when you get lost, and most of all, someone that will actually pick up the phone when you call with a question or a concern. Customer service is just another example of how Travelocity puts you in control of travel. Chances are you'll never have to use it, but it's good to know it'll be there if you need it. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I'll remind you every Saturday from 10 till noon, we come to you live from the center of the automotive universe, which is a really nice all-digital studio. Nice. Hell, I'm not using the word nice. It's an all-digital studio, folks. The floor weighs 10,000 pounds. It's isolated from the concrete that it's resting on by rubber cubes that are 5 by 5 squares of high-density rubber every 16 inches, and there are 3 longitudinal rails. So it's the best place ever for earthquakes to be in, or for hurricanes. And I hope we don't get hurricanes. We don't get earthquakes in Florida. But we're located on the Gulf Coast of Florida, Pensacola, Florida. It's the western gate to the Sunshine State, as our illustrious Mayor Wibbs, God rest his soul, used to say. What a fine man he was. Vince Wibbs, absolutely. He would call me and say, would you support Big Brothers and Sisters? And I'd say yes, and financially. And I would call him and say, would you support Cerebral Palsy, Capstone? And he would say yes, financially. So we were not great friends, but we had a great deal of camaraderie, respect, and admiration for each other. And he will be missed. I don't know where that came from, but you know. Oh, by the way, for those fathers that are tuned in, pre-Happy Father's Day. That's tomorrow. And yours truly is going to be right here at Pensacola's top steakhouse, The District. And we'll be there at 6 p.m., we being my wife and I, enjoying my Father's Day. So there you go. And I wish for all of you fathers, Happy Father's Day. Let's take a call from Bill in North Carolina. Bill, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic, sir.
Good morning, Bobby. Appreciate you taking my call.
Surely. Good morning, sir.
07 Pacifica Chrysler, and it's got the automatic turn-off on the radio. You have your option of setting 45 seconds, 5 minutes, and 10 minutes.
Okay.
When you exit the car.
Right.
If you do open the door, it will shut it off right away.
Right.
That feature has gone from it, and of course, you cannot shut the radio off manually. You can mute it. And what has happened, it'll stay on about 4 minutes, and it will go off, but it always leaves that little doubt in your mind whether it is going to go off. And everything else that is hooked to that delay, I have it set on the scale of 10 minutes.
Okay.
And moving it from 45 seconds up to 10 minutes doesn't vary it at all. It used to. But when you pull up the engine off option on the settings,
right,
you do have that option.
Right.
But lately, it's gotten so that it will not go off, but everything else, the windows and anything else, will go off right away when you open the door to exit. Any idea?
Well, you're telling me that the radio, you're telling me you turn the key off, and of course the radio is still on, and then you open the door and the radio doesn't go off?
No, it does not go off when you open the door, but it will go off with the door closed or when you open it within about 4 to 5 minutes.
Well, the reason that it goes off,
nice option.
The reason it goes off, the reason that it goes off in 4 to 5 minutes is because the computer goes to sleep and winds down. So I would not worry, were I you, that here's what I would do. I would not worry about, okay, one of these days it's not going to go off, but the fact that you've already, and you know how to adjust the settings for the radio, and you had it on 10 minutes. And see, that's on my car. If I have the push button start off, if I have the ignition off, and I push the radio on, it comes on and stays on for 10 minutes, and that's not adjustable. It's 10 minutes. The problem, when I first bought the car, I used to sit in the back of the car and try to learn how to do all the bulbs and bells and whistles and the navigation, and it would go off and I'd hit it on. And then finally, after the third 10-minute session, the car would say, I won't let you do that anymore. You got to crank me up. and that's because it would get below a voltage threshold, and that protects the battery. Having said all that, here's what I suggest that you do, Bill. Disconnect the negative side of the battery for 30 seconds, and then reconnect the battery, not the positive, the negative. And that will reboot the body control module, because the body control module is the feature and controls all of the features that you're referring to. So and then you have to maybe do some resets on stations and what have you. So who cares? Then go back into your setting that you know how to go to with key off, and accessories on, and see if that feature is restored. And if it does, I just saved you a lot of money. If it doesn't, just keep monitoring it and don't worry about it. Any questions?
Yeah, this feature does come up on the radio, as I say, and I can set it to whatever I want, but it does not affect the operation. But yet, when I do open the door, the windows will go off right away, the way the radio should. So I was thinking it was more in the radio itself.
No, it's in the body control module. The radio is a receiver. Now, no pun intended. It's a voltage receiver. It uses voltage, and it doesn't dictate when it gets the voltage or when it shuts off. The body control module dictates that.
Yeah, but when I do open the door, it does kill the other features.
That is not. That same setting that you're setting for the radio has nothing to do with the interior lights.
No, I realize that. But,
but you're connecting them together in your words. You're confusing yourself. You're worried about the lights going out, and you're saying the lights work as advertised. When you open the door, the lights shut down. They're supposed to. But so don't worry about the radio. But actually, here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line, Bill. The body control module controls all those functions. Don't overthink it. Just disconnect the negative, let the body control module reboot, and see what that does for you. Okay. And if that doesn't fix it, then there could be a reprogramming that could fix it, or it may be that you have to replace the body control module, which for what year is your vehicle?
It's 2017.
Well, 2017. Well, so 27. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This did happen right after a software update manually by the radio.
Okay. So that goes back to what my statement was just before you told me that. Disconnect the negative side of the battery, which will reboot. It will shut down the body control module. The body control module will reboot itself, and if it's been recently reprogrammed, then that program, that the way you remember it, may not be the same. It may be updated to correct another problem that you don't know about, but this is some collateral damage.
That makes sense, because it did change the adaptive cruise control distance.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, there you go. Here's the bottom line. Because all of these functions and features in cars are intertwined and connected, the body control module, there may be some part of that system that you don't even know about that needs updating. And by updating that particular part of it, it has an adverse effect, in your opinion, on other. In other words, you ever remodeled a house, and you start with one room? Do you finish with that same room? Absolutely not.
Right.
It costs you an arm and a leg. I don't want to go there, but that's what I'm saying.
I know.
There's no such thing as just tweak this one thing, and because there's it's called collateral damage in the worst situation, or it's just an upgrade in the best situation.
Okay, one quick question. When I disconnect the negative, is it going to interrupt any of the programming?
Yes.
Except for
that's okay.
Radio.
Yeah.
It won't wipe.
No, it won't wipe. It won't do anything. You won't do anything that you'll be sorry for.
Okay.
Right now.
Give it a shot, Bob.
Okay.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you a lot, man.
Father.
A happy Father's Day to you,
Happy
Bill.
Father.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. That's really great, folks. It's a great program today. Bobby Likis Car Clinic has been brought to you in part by Motorrad, your first choice for vehicle thermostats, caps, and engine management products like the variable valve timing solenoids, which I absolutely can tell you are a must to get maximized performance, and there's no better than Motorrad. In fact, Motorrad will help make sure your car is road ready during these uncertain times. You can learn more where? At motorrad.com. So it is now time for me to announce the winner. My crew just came in with a winner of the O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card. And the winner of the $25 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card, it's a Happy Father's Day gift from our partner, O'Reilly Auto Parts, is James from Missouri. And James, if you'll remember, was a young mechanic who was really very open and very knowledgeable, but he still had a question about automobiles, and that's really what my job here is all about, is to share information with you so you can get the better deals, not necessarily deals, but better information and a better service for your automobile. Having said all that, again, the winner of our O'Reilly gift card, $25 for Happy Father's Day, is James from Missouri. To that end, we got a short time left on the program. Let's go back to Richard. Richard, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. You had another question.
I got 6 cars to take care of, and I've got so many questions.
You're pushing your luck today, but go ahead.
I know the 2003 Z06 just had the oil change, and it has upper and lower gasket leak. Very little. I just checked and what have you.
Okay.
Will the barium B60 work?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. That's a high performance engine, and that's probably not. Here's I'm torn here because
it's just barely. I just looked out there. I've had sitting there just a little spot. Couple little spots.
But you don't know where that spot's. You don't know where that oil's coming from, do you?
Well, the upper and lower, it says. It's got upper and lower oil pan gaskets.
Yeah, that's the, yeah. Well, yeah, by all means, try the Berryman B60 oil system rejuvenator, because if it doesn't work, you're not out anything, and if it works, you and I will both be heroes, because that's a big job, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Hey, you know what you might do? Richard, what you might do? Here's what I would do. I would put the Berryman B60 oil system rejuvenator in it, follow the instructions on the can to the letter, and then I would have the engine block cleaned. You could use pressure.
We got 20,000 miles.
Yeah, I know. It's low mileage, as you said, but anyway, clean the engine and then inspect it. And in the worst scenario, you could use dye like we use, and then you can specifically tell exactly where it's coming from, because for that car to have a leak at the upper and the lower is unusual. It may have a leak at the upper, but the lower may not be leaking. In other words, it surprises me that it would be leaking in 2 different spots. I'm concerned that you've got some oil that's migrating from one to the other, unless you've already done due diligence and had it cleaned. Okay. Hey.
EBCM, what is that?
What is it now? What's the question?
EBCM. It runs, I guess, the brake system and the lights come on. No parts available. And that's something.
Well, I wonder sometime, my Mac, in our control room, the Mac DVD writer, CD writer failed last week, and there's not one available because I bought that system and it's too old, And so I said, well, this is easy to fix. I'll just buy a plug-and-play USB CD writer. So I went to a big box store, and I bought one for $85, and I plugged it into our edit suite, and the edit suite says, not compatible. Now, isn't that and folks, that's where you get it. So the bottom line is, the bottom line is it's not compatible, so we had to do a workaround. Folks, that's all the time that I have for today's program. Again, the winner of the $25 O'Reilly gift card and a happy Father's Day wish from yours truly is James from Missouri, a young mechanic. So James, congratulations to you. And folks, just remember, every week from 10 till noon Eastern Time, right here from the center of the automotive universe, I come to you with not all the answers, but with information that will help save you money, keep your car in your garage and out of a repair garage. Although you should go 3 times a year and have your car inspected. Well, that's all the time we have. I'll see you next Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern. I'm Bobby Likis. Likis, you'll love us.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
Grundy Insurance began selling agreed value policies in 1947. These policies are set at the time they are issued, detailing the amount a policy holder will receive and an insurance company will pay in the event of a total loss or theft of a vehicle. It's the safest way to protect the restoration cost and appreciating value of collector cars. Actual cash value policies and stated value policies do not establish the amount in advance. Visit Grundy.com for more information about agreed value policies and other insurance concepts and products. That's Grundy.com. Folks, COVID-19's temporarily changed our everyday lives, and while many people are staying home, there's still plenty of people who depend on their vehicles to go to work. And even those at home need to get to the grocery store and pharmacy. Your vehicle's reliability has never been more important. Berryman Products is committed to providing the products needed to help maintain your vehicle, like the Berryman's Intake Valve and Combustion Chamber Cleaner Kit, which helps to restore power and remove economy-robbing carbon. Learn more at berrymanproducts.com. That's berrymanproducts.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
P. Ricey Outfitters, I'm Tina. How can I help you?
I'd like to place an order.
Great. Which item?
The cotton roll neck sweater, large.
Okay. Periwinkle, Loden, or caramel?
The caramel, please.
The what?
I'd like it in caramel.
Oh, the caramel?
Yeah, that's what I said, Tina.
Actually, you said caramel when it's pronounced caramel.
Can't we just call it yellow?
No.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
Ugh, that makes a Milky Way great.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, starts my morning, happy morning. Your name is Folgers Mountain Grown, now you're here.